Okay. All right. Okay. Good day. Okay, good day, everybody. Thanks for that wonderful sign language. We have Master here, and they were all amazed. They walked in and they're wondering what is going on, and upon knowing that it was because Master talked about this in the morning Dhamma talk, and that's why you prepared it. I think there's so much that goes to say how connected you are with Master. You know, whenever she talks of something, and then we right away feel connected, and we feel that we want to do something. So I think it's wonderful. Like today on our group chat, what I saw was there were so many pictures of President Lee, and that was because we Master talked about it today, and I think this is what it means to be connected in the Dharma. It's not just to listen to it with words, but rather it's to trying to go deeper. And how do you go deeper? It's not just by looking at the words, right? It's more into it, like reading into the pictures of the past, going into the stories of the past, and looking at every story as they are, and even deeper to find the meaning behind what Master is trying to tell us. Okay, so I think this is very wonderful. Today, my topic is a bit on the lighter side in terms of content, because I do want to get into the questions. But so last week, we talked about chapter 23, the former deeds of Bodhisattva Medicine King, and we talked about why the offering of the body and the rebirth of the body, and the offering of the arms and the regrowth of the arms. That's what we talked about last week, and we talked about it really tells you that what is yours will be yours, right? The arms were burnt and they come back, but are they really yours? And what's not yours will never be yours, you know, to be owned. Your body, your arms aren't really yours. They are yours for this particular time and space. But in the next lifetime, are they really yours? They won't be yours again. I mean, in the next lifetime, are you going to be looking like this, or you're going to be something different? This body is going to go away. This body is not going to go with you. But what will go with you, and that's the key. What will go with you, and what do you do with that is the key. So what is yours, right? That's yours. Wisdom life is yours. You take it with you for throughout. But what is not yours? The physical life. So while you're offering the physical life, it tells you that you're offering all the things that's your physical life. But what you're gaining is what you can take with you, which is the wisdom life. And I think that also with the arms, it talks about the arms are the ones that actually create all these create all the blessings. What you gain from there are the virtue, but what is not yours are all the glories and the merits that go with it. But rather, it's the wisdom that go with you, and I think that's very important as far as I'm concerned about the actual offering part. Okay, so this week, we're still in chapter 23, but it's very different. And I look at the questions, and there are these questions about the last couple of days, I think 3 days or 4 days of the morning Dhamma talk. Master talks about the mountains and the oceans and the constellations and on what they mean. So I thought I wanted to go in a little bit about what I think, why Master talk about the mountains and the oceans and the constellations. I'm sure there are many different explanations, and this is just my own take. And I think that there are various parts about this that I want to get into. So first part, the sutra itself references the mountain, the ocean, and the constellation, the moon and the sun. And now today it goes even deeper into why it's the greatest, right? The kings and the heavens. It's always the greatest, right? So there are a couple of things it's telling you. That Lotus Sutra is the greatest in terms of the sutra, in terms of what this part is telling you. Chapter 23, beyond the part about the interactions of the past Bodhisattva, is now talking about why and how Lotus Sutra is the greatest. And it's almost like it can't tell you how great it is unless it tells you in your terms. in languages that you can understand. It tells you it's like the tallest mountain of all the mountains that you know. It's like the ocean that is able to take in all the rivers and all the waters, right? So it tells you in your terms, in our terms that we can understand at the time, right? So it tells you about the moon in the nightly sky. And it tells you about the sun in our sky, how these are the ones that shine brightly. So it tells you in these terms, in the terms that you and we can understand at the time. But is that enough? No, it's not. That's why the sutra continues to tell you how great it is. So I think, first of all, it's trying to tell you that it is the most supreme. It is the greatest. And that's the very first thing it tries to tell you. But I try to go in deeper and figure out what else is there. For example, in terms of the ocean and the water, right? How the water is all the same, but the ocean is much, much bigger and was able to encompass all the water. And it talks about Mount Sumera, how it's the tallest of all, and it's all, it's the biggest, it's the tallest, and how, all the other ones are, they are very small and they're all dwarfs compared to it, right? So what else does it mean other than to try to tell you that Lotus Sutra is the greatest and the Buddhahood is the most supreme? Other than that, what is it trying to say? And I really think that there's really no difference, right? If you look at mountain 1 versus mountain 2, the only difference is perhaps that it's taller, right? Imagine that imagine that you're an alien, and for you there is no Mount Sumeru, there's no Mount whatever name. It's just a pile of sand, a pile of dirt. It's just a matter of how tall it is. What this is telling us, just like the water, there is no visible difference other than if you want to talk about the salinity, which is the saltiness of the ocean. Yes, it's different. But in terms of the water's property, they're actually all the same. The only difference is that it's bigger, it's taller, and it takes longer. And so for me, I really think that to go into the water and go into the ocean, it's trying to tell you that they're actually not much different. And this is what Master had been telling us all along. Remember, always telling us that Buddha lived our life too, lived the same life as we did, went through the same thing. The only difference was that the Buddha was willing to try to find out the truth, find out the principles, the true principles of life. That's what the Buddha was trying to do. And so the Buddha and us, the same, right? We all have mothers, we all have parents, we all come to this world, we all feel, we all have 2 eyes and 2 ears. We all have the same faculties of our senses. We're all the same. There's no difference. The water is the same. The sands are the same. The only difference, and there's very little, the only difference is that he is more willing to, he already understood, and he is willing to try to go deeper into the principles. And that's what this is trying to tell us, right? Look at today. Today was talking about President Lee, right? And Master spoke of President Lee, the former President Lee. He spoke at the, maybe it was one of the ceremonies, talked about the Great Wall started with 1 brick, right? Started with that 1 single brick. Same thing, right? A long journey started with 1 first step. It always tells you that even for the ocean, you still need the water, each water droplet to consist, to come together to make a great ocean. Same thing for the mountain. Without a single particle of sand, how would you make this mountain? Without a rock, how would you make a mountain? Same thing. It's an idea of accumulation. Everything is an accumulation, a long duration of accumulation. And that's what Buddha is, an accumulation of diligence, accumulation of doing what is right, an accumulation of wisdom and compassion. Long duration of this accumulation, then you get Mount Sumeru. We can too. We are just not there yet. Whether we are sometimes getting erosion, right? Like, the rock has blown off, or the sand gets blown off, or whatnot, or the water gets evaporated. Sometimes it's gone, right? We don't get a chance to become the ocean, but we already got evaporated. There is no difference. Just a long duration of accumulation. And that tells us that we can too. That's why in the Lotus Sutra, everyone was getting the future prediction to become the Buddha, because that is the key. Anybody can. It's just whether you want to do it or not. It's a long duration and it's a long process and it takes time. So Master also talks about each word and each phrase. Imagine, what is a sutra? A sutra is also made up of words. A sutra is also made up of verses, right? So Master talks about a verse had like 4 sentences, and each sentence has like 5 characters, right? So Master spoke of this. It's the same way. The entire book, the entire sutra is an accumulation of words and verses. Without the words and verses, you wouldn't have a sutra. And that's why each word and each verse actually carries a meaning. That it's just like a sand. A sand is there to make up for the entire mountain. A word and a verse is there to make up for the entire Lotus Sutra. You need each of these particles. Just like if I ask, who are you? Can you live without, are you who you are without your eyes, without your ears, without your head, without part of you, right? But is your eye you? Is your mouth you? Is one of your cell you? It's the same idea, but in the Lotus Sutra, a couple of days ago, Master talks about how if you are uphold even one word or one verse in the sutra, then your merit is so much greater than so and so and so. Then it's telling you that word already represents the sutra. If you really believe the sutra, the teachings, and then you believe the direction that this is leading our lives, then each word in it and each verse in it is already carries the whole meaning of this sutra. Just like each sand in this mountain is already representative of this entire mountain. Just like a word is already representative of the entire sutra. So we can see that this is an accumulation of each individual unit. And that means that you can do it too. That you can be like that. You are just, we are a small pile right now. We are not a tall mountain yet. But as long as we try and as long as we continue, we can do it. And this is what I believe, that the story isn't just telling you that it's the greatest. I think it's using all these metaphors to tell you that, to make you understand. And it also tells you that everything can be broken down into smaller pieces. And without the smaller pieces, you wouldn't get the big pieces. So everything starts from the first step, and that you can do it too. So I think that is probably one of the biggest things that I got. And just the same, the sun and the moon, right? How they shine the light, how they bring this light onto the whole universe. The same idea. I think that the sun and the moon depends on their situation. Depends on their situation. The sun is there. The moon is there. The moon is the brightest in the nightly sky, but the sun is always the brightest. And why is the moon the brightest on the nightly sky? Because at the time, there's no sun. And I think what this is trying to tell you is that the sutra and the Dharma itself is actually all around you. But it's really only around you when you make use of it, when you need it. Like in the nightly sky, because you already turned back toward the sun is still there. You just turn away from it. But there is still another light source, and that's called the moon. It's still there for you. For example, when you're all very happy, then your heart is open to all the light ray of the sun. But when you are not receptive, when you turn away from it, it's that the sun still there, but you just turn away from it. But there is still Dharma for you in the moon too. And that tells you that even though sometimes you feel that there is no Dharma for the things that I'm going through, that even though that there's no people understand what you're going through, there always Dharma around you to help you. In the nightly sky, when there's no sun, there is still moon. And I think Dharma fills everywhere. You just need to know how to use it. And sometimes you might not know it's there, but it's always there. And when you make use of it, it's going to be the brightest. So that's how I make of the mountain and the water and the sun and the moon. That's what I think of it. So like I said, that was a very, yesterday I was talking to Sister Cheng, and I thought I wanted to do something different. So that's why that's my sharing for today. So, but I want to get into the questions. I do want to get into the questions. I prepare all these answers that I wanted to go into. So question 49. And first of all, let me thank everybody for posing these questions, because I think it's very important that once we start to have these conversation and start to think about these things, you start to have some logical questions about what and how things are supposed to work. And like I said, I am no, by all means, this is not an authority to tell you, oh, this is the only right answer, and we're going to get into that later. But this is just my take on this. So the question asks, can one bypass the heavenly realm and the hell realm and embark on the Bodhisattva path? But they understand that there is another better way, to go to the Western Pure Land, where there will be Amitabha to guide us. Okay, so two questions. Can you bypass the heavenly realm and the hell realm? Second question, is there a better way to go to the Western Pure Land? So I really wanted to share that, understand this, okay? Bodhisattva path exists in all realms. Remember in hell, remember how the Buddha at first started, the aspiration, right? Remember animals actually save other animals, like animals saving us. So it's okay that while you're in other realms, even though there's so much suffering, even though that you might not learn, or progress in your wisdom, and I'm sure some do, right? Just like the Buddha. Buddha was also a deer king, or was also an eagle, was also a tiger, all these, an elephant, all these different animals, right? So remember, they also have all these, yeah. So this path of helping others, of selflessly helping others, exists in all the realms, right? So it's not about bypassing. Oh, I want to skip over, right? Because you're going there, not because, we're going there. Most of us are going to the different realms because of our karma. We are taken there, right? But rather, it's about the same principles, even when in different environment. That means no matter where you go, there are always sentient beings needing help. And if you're following the same path, if you're following the same Bodhisattva path, then you are going to find your mission and calling wherever you go. Just like you're staying in Taiwan, then there will be people that you can help. You go to the US, there will be people that you can help. You go to Africa, there will be people that you can help. Yes, you help them different ways, but there will be Bodhisattva path nonetheless. So that's like the whole idea, right? So it's the same principle. So it's like a glass of water with mud. We talked about it last week. Regardless of whatever that shakes, it's the glass, the table, or the room. As long as the water remains clear, then the mind remains tranquil, right? So that's what I think, is that it's actually the journey, right? The Bodhisattva path is the process and the principle. We can take that to all the places, right? So my idea about the Pure Land is whether your destination is Eastern or Western Pure Land, right? Bodhisattva path is still it. And what does that mean? You can put the two together, okay? You can put the two together. Whether you want to go to the Eastern or the Western Pure Land, it's not that you go there and that's it. You go to the Western Pure Land and it doesn't stop there. You continue. It's just that there's a different Buddha that guides you along the way to do what? To be on the Bodhisattva path. It's the same thing. You're just going to the different place to practice. You're going to the different place with another person guiding you, another teacher guiding you, with a different environment. Whoever the guide, wherever you will be, the journey is the same. So what does that mean? For example, you go to the United States, you go there and you do Tzu Chi there. Or you go to Malaysia, you do Tzu Chi there. You go to Africa, you do Tzu Chi there. Or you stay in Taiwan, you do the Tzu Chi. No matter where you go, no matter who the guide is, no matter what language you speak, the path is still the same. You go there and the same missions for you. So yes, you go to a better place. For example, you go to Africa. That place, everywhere, everybody needs help. But you go to US, not many people need help. You stay in Taiwan, people here are very okay, right, in terms of COVID-19. And you go to Malaysia, even though you still have some sort of limited condition, stay in home order, but you are now able to do more things, right? So everywhere there is different affinities. Everywhere there's different condition. And everywhere there's a different people and sentient beings needing help in different ways. But you still do the same thing. So even you go to Western, you go to Eastern, right? So you go to some countries where everything seems better, right? You have paved roads, you have supermarkets, you have very, very good items and goods. You go to Africa, many things are lacking. Same thing, you go to the Western Pure Land, a lot of things are there for you, jeweled, you know, like the pavements and, you know, the water ponds and trees, beautiful. But you still do the same thing. You still go there and you still go to the sentient beings that need help. So wherever you go, it's the same idea, okay? So next question. There are from time to time statements that those who listen to Xun Fa Xiang don't seem to be more active or more accommodating than those who didn't attend morning Xun Fa Xiang. Okay, so this usually happens. You know, like people would say, you should Xun Fa Xiang, and then the other person would say, well, look at you, you're not better than me. Why should I go, right? So this is usually what happens. And that's why I think questions like this happen. Okay, so as such, it is not easy to advise people to attend Xun Fa Xiang. So let me give you this advice, and this is advice that goes true for all. It's not just Xun Fa Xiang, it's also with Tzu Chi. Imagine you want people to come to Tzu Chi, right? And then you go like, well, you know, it's a wonderful environment. And then somebody will ask you, well, look, I'm not in Tzu Chi, I'm a good person. And look at that person is in Tzu Chi, and look at how they're talking, how they're shouting at each other, you know, they're not very nice. So this actually is true for all situations, which is, you know, let us build a very positive environment together. You know, there are always going to be people, and there are always going to be people that, you know, do more, and there are always going to be people that are willing to give more, okay? So let's build on that, right? Let's build on the positive environment together, rather than try to, you know, say that, hey, so-and-so is not so good, rather than saying that, hey, you are not, what you're doing is inadequate and not so good. You know, sometimes it's impossible to weed out all the negative, because that's us. We are ordinary beings, or we're still cultivating, we're still practicing. We are still who we are, but we are progressing to be better. It's impossible to say no more negatives, right? Everybody here is a saint. Everybody here is now going to be the perfect forms of Bodhisattva. It's not going to happen yet. Not yet, okay? But let us contribute to the positive. Let us all, in each of us, contribute to the positive, right? So when somebody said, hey, you're in Xun Fa Xiang, but you're not doing any other activities, let us look at the positive side. You know, perhaps Xun Fa Xiang is what his life needs right now, and he has only this energy to take in all of that, perhaps. But at least the positivity is that this person is coming here and feeling very loved in this environment, and therefore, let's do more. Let's do more to make them feel welcome and wanting to do more positive, okay? So let's build on the positive. Let's continue to contribute to the positive. And then other people will come in and say, wow, this place with doing all the Xun Fa Xiang is really, really positive. People are still, you know, not perfect, but this is a real positive place. And they're willing to come on their own accord, okay? So next question. So while engaging in activities, one put in great effort, but at times when encountered with people with glass hearts, and thank you for explaining to me what glass hearts mean, because in different cultures, glass hearts mean different things. And thank you, you're telling me I'm happy to see success in others, okay? How could one carry on with that task, okay? So priority is to reassure that these glass-hearted persons or stay, you know, or stay focused on performing the missions well. So this is what I think, okay? Whether this person is glass-hearted or not, your genuine wish for their success is always there and always true. It's not focusing about your success, right? So if they're so in tune about not happy to see your success, it's not about focusing about your success, right? It's like, you know, when I see Sister Cheng all the time, or Sister Effie, or Sister Stephanie, everybody, right? Sister YY, all of you that contribute so greatly, you know, to this forum, to this platform, right? You are not thinking about your success. You are not thinking about, oh, what can I get out of this? You know, now I'm becoming, you know, the platform is going more and more people. It's about the success of the people that are coming here. And I think that when people are so, you know, I don't want to say jealous, but they're glass-hearted about your success, I think what we have to turn this in and out, turn this inside out, And it's to make it so that what you want, your genuine wish is for everyone to be successful. And that's always going to be there, right? You could be not happy about my own success, but I'm truly wish that everybody could be successful and happy here. And I think if your genuine wish is true, they will feel it. And I think this is the sincerity that Master has been always talking about. The true selflessness. The glass-hearted people will look at your selflessness and they would criticize that too. Oh, you think you're so holy. but the only ways that you are going to be able to carry on is, hey, it's just like the song that we just sang, right? I'm not here to show you how good my language is. I'm here so that you feel really positive. So that when you hear this song and you hear the lyrics, you feel about that you gain something today. And then it will make you more successful today, more happy about who you are. And I think this goes back into the genuine wish that everyone else around you can be successful, that anyone that coming into this platform can really gain something and be successful. Okay, so moving right along, I'm going to get to the question. So this is the question about no right or wrong answer. So the question says, it is good to end the reply with there is no right or wrong answers. Do you mean any answer is right, can also be wrong, or vice versa? A thought how to share our Dharma knowledge with other people and tell them there is no right or wrong path toward Buddhahood. By the way, curious to find out the type of samadhi that can help us speak many languages. Okay, so we talk about this. That's also in the sutra. So let me take it apart one at a time. Okay, so this is going to be the last question we go today. So the answer, there is no right or wrong answers, is dependent on the question. You can't tell this to every questions, right? Oh, is it right to eat animals? And I will tell you, no, it's not right. I'm not going to tell you, well, there's no right or wrong answer. No, it depends on the question. Okay, so if you tell me, is it right to kill? And I would tell you, no, under no circumstances. And if you give me a very, very complicated scenario, I would just tell you this. It's because I don't have the wisdom. That's why I don't have the answer. In that particular path, it's very clear that the answer is not, there is no right or wrong answer. It depends on the question, okay? So that's the first thing I want to get through. Depends on the question, okay? So just like how to share Dharma and knowledge with others, the answer is really dependent on the person you share to. How do you share Dharma to others, right? How do you share Dharma to someone who is very learned, who is a PhD in psychology? How do you share the Dharma with them? Or how do you share all these things? Or how do you share Dharma with a kindergarten kid? It really depends on the person you share it to. And so it really depends. But let me tell you, right? There is no one best way. Okay, so no right or wrong just tells you that there are many, many answers, right? There is no one best way in terms of reaching Buddhahood. This is my understanding, right? You can go to the Western Pure Land, you can practice, meditation, you can practice chanting, you can do all of this, right? I can't tell you which one is the best. So for me, there isn't one best way, but I know what I'm going to do. Do you know what you're going to do? And I believe in the direction that I'm going through. Do you know yours? I have started on my path. Have you started on yours? That's the key. I don't know if there is a best way, but for me, I know what works for me. I know my direction. So now I'm going to ask you, do you know yours? I believe fully in my direction, and that is why I'm walking on my path. I'm going full speed on this path. Do you know yours, and have you started on yours? So while there is no best way to reach Buddhahood, I can tell you, I already know my direction, and I'm walking on my path. And there's right. That's why there is no right. There is no one right way. But I know there is one wrong way, which is not starting. If you don't start, it doesn't really matter which way is right or wrong. It's just not gonna get anywhere. Even if it's the wrong way, if someone is there to help you, it will teach you that it's the wrong way and why it's wrong. Then it will eventually become the right way. So that's why there isn't only one right answer. There are many answers, but I know there's one wrong answer, which is if you don't even start. Then even if you know the right way, if you know the right direction or wrong direction, it's not going to work. About the speaking different languages, it's talking about in the sutra, 一切众生语言陀罗尼, also they're able to speak many languages. And I think it's not so much that, you know, you do something and then one day you wake up and then you are able to speak 10 languages. It's not that. But it's the byproduct of caring and loving all sentient beings. If you remember the merits of the Dharma masters in the chapter, I think it was 16, 17, 18, 16, 17, 18, chapter 19, okay? Chapter 19, the merits of the Dharma masters or the Dharma teachers, 法师功德品. It tells you about all the you know, capabilities, your eyes, your ears, your nose, right? It's not that if you do this, your eyes become sharper. No, it's the other way around. Because you do this, you need your eyes to be sharper and it becomes sharper, okay? It's because you care about your all sentient beings. So you begin to learn their language. You begin to do what they do. So it's not so much as speak their tongue or speaking their language, but more about understanding their ways. It's just like master, not understanding Arabics, but understanding that brother Guangzhong, Hu Guangzhong, that he would not bow. So master did, instead of palms together, she did this. And that goes further than speaking their language. It goes with understanding their ways, because she cares so much that she learned from each other and she was able to understand their ways. So rather than palms together, she did this because she knew that's how they communicated. So it's not so much the tongue, but it's the way of communication. Okay, so that's what I really think about 一切众生语言陀罗尼. It's really not about, now I can speak 10 different languages, but rather communicate. Okay, so that's my sharing for today. I go through many questions today, and thank you all for posing these questions. There's still more questions toward the end, but we're out of time. So thank you so much. And today, I'm just going through very quickly the mountains and the water and the constellation and the verses in the sutra. But most importantly, I think it's what you make the use of. If you don't make a use of it, then the mountain is just going to be a mountain, useless. But what is useful? It's actually that one sand that is useful. It's actually that one droplet of water. Remember, Master said, you can take the whole bucket of water and pour it onto the hot stone. It wouldn't work. But it's that one drop that works. What does that mean? It's not the whole book, the whole sutra that's going to change your life. It's the one thing that's inside that's going to change your life if you put your heart to it. That's the key. So it's not the whole ocean dump onto you. It's not the whole mountain that sits on top of you. No, it's the one sand in there. And that takes time to find out what that one sand is. Be mindful. Then you will find that one sand, that one droplet, and that one thing, one verse that will be able to transform you. And that's more important than that one whole big book of the Lotus Sutra. And I think that's how I see all these things. So thank you. That's my sharing for today. And we're going to move on to the next topic. Thank you.
感恩, Brother Joe, for such another awesome sharing.感恩, truly, let us pray that each of us could have more of this grain of sand and the droplets of water, importantly, accumulation non-stop. Today, we are very grateful to have with us Brother George Cheng from Hong Kong. Brother George, during this very trying time, COVID time, Brother George, how he lead the Shangri-La staff to serve masses. How over to you, Brother George?感恩, brother.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I'll just put on my my slides first, so if you just give me a little while.
Meeting with Master. And Brother George was, I think, in charge of the volunteer team from Shangri-La group, I believe. And the story was very, very heartwarming in that how Brother George invited and got many, many people to see this path. And even though there were some questions at first, but Brother George took them. And many of the staff and colleagues of Brother George from Shangri-La group were all eventually realized how touching it was.
I'll just share without the PowerPoint there. Well, anyway, good morning, everyone. Good morning, my brothers and sisters. My name is George from Hong Kong. Apologies, I think my PowerPoint just doesn't work, so I'll just skip the PowerPoint this time. Stop sharing, yes. So, yes. So just to talk about this morning's teaching from Masters, and as everyone has actually mentioned about the late President Lee during the groundbreaking ceremony told Master that the Great Wall actually was built with the first brick. That really resonates very deeply with me because that's in everything in life. We need to take the first step before anything can happen. So today I'm very honored and humbled to be invited to share the community care program that Tzu Chi has actually been partnering with Shangri-La Group in Hong Kong. So this sharing is also about my own journey, about how I learned and benefited from Master's wisdom and all the coaching and encouragements from my spiritual siblings that have been sharing on me. So this report was first presented to Master in late June, a period when Hong Kong was enjoying some peace, free of COVID-19 cases and political turmoil. So as we speak today, COVID-19 actually returned into Hong Kong with vengeance, actually, with a lot of cases. So this epidemic actually taught us that life lessons is actually full of unpredictability, and also given us the opportunity to demonstrate the courage to act on a love and compassion for all sentient beings, as what Master would have wanted us to demonstrate. So, way back in February, just before Chinese New Year, a time when COVID-19 started festering in China and spreading rapidly in Hong Kong, I started my new work with the Shangri-La work. I changed employment, I changed company, I went to Shangri-La Group. So on my first week at work, I was met with colleagues who were very anxious about their safety and health. So at that time, many Hong Kongers were focusing on securing daily necessities and face masks, getting face masks. Unemployment rate was very high, and economy started slipping downhill. So in addition, Hong Kong has been actually, I'm sure everyone who have read the news know that's been actually experiencing a lot of social unrest since last year. So many people worried about losing their job. So under such circumstances, when the hearts are in turmoil, there's really no peace, no calmness in the society. So Master has been reminding us that this epidemic is actually a shared karmic effect. So 共业, so therefore we should really be willingly accepting the consequences as we face the society today. However, the Dharma lessons at dawn every day Master also reiterated that we as disciples must strictly adhere to the Tzu Chi 10 precepts and also cultivate good relationships. Sow good seeds so that better outcomes will eventually overtake the bad ones. So therefore, I kept thinking, how can I help my colleagues and Hong Kongers to calm their hearts so that they can purify their minds and enable society to become peaceful again? So, 愿人心净化，社会祥和，天下无灾. So just fast forward to April, in one of my meetings with our group chairman of Shangri-La, we talked about the impact of the business on our businesses. So suddenly she just mentioned that, maybe we should partner with a charity organization to help the underprivileged in Hong Kong. Those people that are left, so I've got my screen up now. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, those people, the underprivileged in Hong Kong, those people that live in the undervalley of Hong Kong that not many people bothered to see or helped. So in addition, she said that charity organization should be the one that we partner should be the one that understands true charity. And it's not about the media, photo sessions, and publicity. How a lot of charity organizations or a lot of corporations like to go to do lots of charities, go on the media, take lots of photographs, then, and that's it. We don't want that. And also the charity organizations that we want to partner with is one that is capable of providing long-term sustainable support to the underprivileged residents, rather than a one-off affair then. So I immediately mentioned that Tzu Chi fulfills all the requirements. However, to demonstrate fairness, I immediately contacted 5 other reputable charity organizations in Hong Kong to discuss the potential partnership. Everyone I spoke to was very interested to partner, but they were not confident about providing long-term support, as they were more used to one-off event collaborations with corporate sponsors. In addition, during that time, the epidemic was at its peak. So charity organization spokespeople told me that even their own volunteers were afraid to leave home to support any events. However, only Tzu Chi Hong Kong branch said yes to me immediately without any hesitation. So this epidemic, because of fear, many people did not dare to volunteer to help. However, Tzu Chi volunteers in Hong Kong courageously accepted the opportunities and ventured forth. As a result, the action also encouraged all the other NGOs in Hong Kong to start distributing food to the community. Actually, before then, I just want to put it sort of like a caveat there. Before then, a lot of charity organizations stopped distributing food, but only distributed face masks. But after Tzu Chi started food distribution, everyone saw and everyone started this again to help the residents, the underprivileged residents. So after my chairman approved the collaborations with Tzu Chi, I immediately set up a meeting between Shangri-La Task Force and Tzu Chi to discuss distribution details, the delivery details. So everyone in the meeting agreed that besides cooking oil and rice, we'll all use Jingsi dry food ration products, so Jingsi 产品. So the decision to use only Jingsi dry food ration is to promote vegetarianism and to let recipients remember the love and compassion from Tzu Chi. Also, we decided to include spiritual nutrition in the care bag. That is a Jingsi aphorism booklet. We hope the recipients who receive the care bags not only receive nutrition for the food provided, but they also receive spiritual fulfillment from Master's wisdom. So when I presented my proposal to the chairman, she immediately asked why we only included vegetarian food. I sternly demanded that we should also provide meat-based products for recipients to consume. So, as you can imagine, anxiety descended into my heart. As Master's disciple, how could we provide meat-based products in our delivery? That night after work, I actually seek advice from many Tzu Chi and also my family members. So many of them told me that if the Shangri-La Group chairman insisted on meat-based products, it only meant that timing wasn't right, the yin wasn't right for this partnership. I was advised to give up this opportunity since Master was very insistent about promoting vegetarianism. I should just accept and wait for the right time again. That was actually very sound advice. I thought that was a very, very logical advice that if we had to do meat-based products, then we shouldn't really partner. But however, as I debated if I should turn down this opportunity, since from the media of showing residents queuing up to get to the supermarkets to produce, to purchase face masks, as well as empty shelves in supermarkets actually appeared in my mind. I thought, even if residents could secure face masks, and many organizations were distributing face masks during that time, they were still vulnerable to infections if they were undernourished. This just will not do. They need food. As I racked my brain, suddenly I remember that what Master always reminded us to uphold: sincerity, integrity, truthworthiness, and honesty. 诚正信实. I told myself, surely I do not need to worry. I'll just speak to the chairman about why it is important to navigate vegetarianism, so we can stop murdering animals and start serving Mother Earth. So thereafter, the next morning, I gathered my courage, called out Master in my heart to accompany me to persuade the chairman to allow vegetarian food, only food in the care bags. So very, very gratefully, and also really taking this first step with courage, Chairman listened to my explanation and agreed to my recommendation to promote vegetarianism. On top of that, she said she would increase the value of the purchase from 150 Hong Kong dollars to $300. So the purchase for in the care bag from $150 to $300. So she also agreed that this initiative should continue for at least 8 months, and that we will deliver care package to at least 1,000 families every 2 weeks. Every eligible family will receive at least 1 bag. A family of 4 and above will receive 2 bags. as Master always says, when we help others, we must let them feel they are really being helped. So giving them the amount they need, we hope they can feel the love and compassion for being helped. Also, following Master's teaching that instead of just garnering monetary donation, we should really inspire hearts and inspire loves. So, mu xing mu ai, in others who donate. Therefore, with the task force, we designed a scheme to encourage colleagues to participate in both the packing and the delivery, as well as 1+5 donation scheme in which every dollar our colleagues donate, the company will match $5. So although the epidemic had created a lot of financial anxieties, I was very surprised, inspired and humbled by the overwhelming enthusiasm from my colleagues who generously donated their time annually to participate in the packing delivery, and also the money to ensure we have enough funds to purchase food for the residents. So on to May 13th, within the month from my meeting with the chairman, we organized the first packing activity. That's a really record speed actually, so within a month. So the packing activity included a human chain to deliver hundreds of boxes from the ground to the first floor in our Tzu Chi branch. My colleagues said that although their muscles felt really sore, they did not dare complain as they saw many Tzu Chi volunteers who were probably easily their parents' age, doing a lot more lifting without complaining. Colleagues also mentioned they had experienced the Jing's aphorism code we had shared with them prior to the activity, that one person alone cannot do all the good work in the world. We can accomplish all when everyone joins our heart together to work as one. So what really touched me and touched all the Tzu Chi volunteers in Hong Kong was that my colleagues remember the Tzu Chi aphorism. Jing's aphorism has really made its way into their heart. And during the packing activities too, I also invited Brother Ken, a vegetarian chef and teacher in Hong Kong, to cook a few vegetarian dishes for the volunteers to savor over lunch. So this Brother Ken is actually quite, he appears in a lot of media in Hong Kong to promote vegetarianism. So he's actually, so his face is actually quite recognizable. So my colleagues, some of them actually recognized him immediately when they saw him. So they were so amazed, so surprised, and really very glad that they could taste Brother Ken's vegetarian dishes. So while they heartily consumed the lunch that Brother Ken prepared, they also listened intently to Brother Ken explain how becoming a vegetarian significantly helps the earth, the environment, and purifies one's heart. So, the majority of my colleagues are non-vegetarians. And however, many after the packing activities and Brother Ken's meal and sharing started to change their attitude towards vegetarian diets. And amazingly, really very touchingly, they even request that Brother Ken goes to Shangri-La hotels to teach our chefs how to make vegetarian dishes. That is actually, preparation in progress. We hope that once the social distancing kind of is uplifted, we can get Brother Ken to come into the hotels to conduct some classes. So, after the packing, colleagues also joined the Tzu Chi, brothers and sisters, to deliver care packages to the residents in need. So besides delivering care package to low-income families and elderly parents, elderly residents living alone, we also visited residents staying in cage homes and coffin homes. They're actually basically living spaces crammed with more than 30 people within a 900 square feet space. So after deliveries, a few colleagues expressed that while they had seen cage homes on TV and media, nothing really beats experiencing it in person. So it's unbelievable that Hong Kong has such abject poverty and poor living conditions. They felt sad what they saw, acknowledged that their experience taught them that seeing poverty makes them realize their good fortune, and the realization must be translated to creating fortune for others. So colleagues were actually also moved by responses from the residents who received the package. Many actually expressed that this care package really meant a lot to them, because what it meant is that they can stop going hungry, and because this dry ration, they do not need to consume immediately. We had this multi-grain powder mix to them and all that, and dry biscuits and also instant noodles. And some of them were also pleasantly surprised that we actually just gave them vegetarian food because they knew that vegetarian diet is actually good for health. And besides delivering care package, my colleagues also brought their love and care to the residents. There is a photograph that show to my colleagues, this photograph, Xing Da Ai. This photograph, the man, this male colleague on the left, who's got tattoo on his hand, they're real tattoos actually. After, he told us after this whole visitation that, he with really a lot of tears in his eyes, he said, he had to kneel down to interact with this gentle grandma because her partners was just simply too small and too cramped. So as he spoke to her, he realized that he had never knelt down to interact with his own grandparents, and he has not visited them for a long time. So that love and compassion came out of it. So he promised that he must visit them, in his next rest day. And the female colleague on the right, she has been actually very active volunteering in various charity organizations. However, she expressed that this experience with Tzu Chi is actually felt very, very different, very unique. Not only did we distribute healthy vegetarian food, we entered the homes of these residents to directly demonstrate our care and compassion to them. During the times of epidemic crisis, although home visitations are within the government's social distancing guideline, no other charity organizations dare to venture into these homes to care. However, Tzu Chi volunteers demonstrate their compassion and walk their talk by doing so. So it's really walking the Dharma talk. She was just simply impressed and participating and she's been participating in almost all the delivery sessions organized since. So there are also, colleagues who learned to bow, from our brothers and sisters of SisSuiSan and Tzu Chi, how to bow while presenting care packages to the resident. So they returned to office and taught others the 90 degrees bow and told them that this is an honor that should be done, giving is an honor should be done with humility. Along the way, as I hear all this feedback, what has really touched me is that the Dharma has truly descended into the volunteers' hearts as they participate in all this activity. As with this colleague of mine, he's a financial director in one of the hotels, Kowloon Shangri-La, actually. So he saw the Jing aphorism book in the care package, and he said he fell in love with the book immediately. So the Tzu Chi who took care of him during the activity told me immediately, and I sent him the book to read thereafter. Now he reads the Jing Si every morning and shares a quote with his team members in the morning meeting. And he also exchanged emails with me, trade emails with quotes with me every morning as well. So it's one of the latest ones that let not criticism dampen our motivation. So he says that this is really great for him, and that should bring him through today. So also, there are lots of others. Perhaps I'll just keep sort of like to look, knowing that the shortage of time, in the essence of time, and there are other colleagues who joined and they felt really touched. Like the man, he's actually our chief investment, my colleague, the chief investment officer. I told him that COVID-19 virus is actually, really killed animals, murdered animals who cannot be reborn, seeking vengeance. So, he's an Oxford graduate physicist, but somehow that story resonated with him, and when he participated in this activity and we talk about vegetarianism again, that really touched him deeply, and he promised, he made a vow that he would start going on a vegetarian diet. So as I know, as of today, he actually tried to have at least one vegetarian meal a week, and he says he'll go more on and more and more and more then. So, and for me, I too have learned a lot of experience, I've learned and experienced a lot from their planning and participation. The last slide, I walked with this 80-year-old lady to her 7th floor apartment in an old building without an elevator. She told me she had to climb the stairs 3 times a day, and her knees hurt very badly every day. She's 80 years old. So what I felt sad to know her plight, that an 80-year-old had to suffer so much physical pain in her daily life, I resorted to encouraging her with Master's wisdom that creating an age bank for everyone to deposit 50 years of our age to him. So I told her, Papa, just deposit 50 years of your life, your age to our master. Now you're only 30 years old. And just imagine, she was immediately very delighted repeated that she was only 30 years old, healthy, energetic, without joint pains. And you know, that happiness will just really touch me very deeply. And this lady in the picture, she's Ivy, social work manager with YWCA in Sam Shui Po, one of the poorest neighborhoods in Hong Kong. We partner with YWCA to actually deliver food care packages to the residents in her care. She told me that you know, if Tzu Chi did not walk out and initiated this event, she didn't know when she would actually initiate that herself, because everyone was just so afraid of the epidemic. No one dared to do any activity. She said to me, quote unquote, so as a Christian, she felt, and looking at how Tzu Chi's passion and commitment in helping the poor, she felt very shameful and repentant. So while I encouraged her that she was already doing her best, tears actually welled up in my eyes. So I just recalled that 55 years ago, a team of Catholic nuns questioned Master, you know, what contribution had Buddhists made to the society. So I think at that moment I felt 55 years later, the social work, the IV's feedback is a testament that Master's guidance, with Master's guidance, Tzu Chi has effectively spread Buddha's teaching in the society and within everyone's heart. So the Dharma has actually walked into society and created ripples in everyone's heart now. And for this one, you know, when I visited this elderly lady in a home, she exclaimed that, you know, in this neighborhood has always been served and cared by Catholic and Christian charity organizations. She said, today I finally see someone from a Buddhist organization. I was actually, you know, very touched. I said, I'm sorry, you know, sorry, Popo, we're just so late. We should have visited you much earlier. And the response was really, no, better late than never. So during a conversation, she revealed that she only watches the Dai, TV. And Dai News is the only avenue she gets a daily dose of news footage, as a report would not cause her high blood pressure and heart attack, because it's all not sensational news. So I promised her that when the epidemic subsides, I'll bring her to visit our Hong Kong Jing branch. She was most delighted when she heard that. So, you know, from the first packaging activity to now, we've visited more than 50 locations. And, you know, I kept reminding my colleagues, you know, in Shanghai that this would not have been possible if not for the selfless city volunteers who labored tirelessly behind the scene to prepare for all of us to participate. And from the experience, my colleagues truly understood and appreciated Tzu Chi's ways and approach then. So looking at the smiles and pictures, I feel that every challenge I've met in making this reality has also been precious journey of learning. As masters always say, to do is to learn, and to learn is to be enlightened. So for example, just the last example, you know, I have to share this, it's a bit ticklish when I think about it. You know, as a Tzu Chi person, a volunteer and as an employee in Shangri-La, you know, I carry double identity that could potentially lead to accusations of conflict of interest. So many Tzu Chi friends tell me that they kind of fall, you know, become very shy to share about Tzu Chi at work. So, and I do have that fear too. But, you know, indeed, you know, sometimes we feel that way, but I also felt that Master said that when it's right, just go ahead and do it. But during the initial stage, there were colleagues who did not know about Tzu Chi actually spread rumors about me being a cult member, a cult leader, coming to this organization to recruit more disciples. So I was new in the organization, they didn't know me. I talked about Tzu Chi, they didn't know about Tzu Chi. So I said, this person wants to be a cult member. Always smiling, always saying hi to them. So, you know, when I got wind of this rumor, so I recalled Master's courage to confront and resolve the issues rather than just sort of, you know, just dismissing it. We just have to confront it. So I invited these two people out for lunch and explained Tzu Chi to them. So these people, these colleagues, very touchingly, they are now very active volunteers in this initiative, and sometimes they even take their own leave to do the packing and delivery. So, you know, from the meat-based to vegetarianism, from suspicion to enthusiastic participation. This all happened in a moment when there's a turn of heart, a change of our mind. So just sharing all this made me really emotional, because in 2003, when I first met Master, he actually told me, just go and do it. This words has actually engraved in my, you know, the words have engraved in my heart forever. You know, quote unquote, 去做就对了. So I'm engraved this word in my heart. taking and talking and doing Tzu Chi wherever I am, whenever I can, and doing them with courage, no matter how scared and unwilling I am about confronting it. And I will continue to learn and grow with the guidance and support from Master and from all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, I'm done. Finished my presentation. Thank you very much, Ganen.
Okay, thank you, Brother George. And here we have Master for feedback.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Tzu. Thank you for all your effort, our old Tzu Chi members and Brother George, and the sharing. Thank you for effort in everything you are doing in your company, your family, and most important is for Tzu Chi, because you're really putting a very great effort in Tzu Chi, like our Buddha Path. And this is my first time to speaking English in online, and I have so long never speaking English since I'm in Taiwan, and I'm back a lot in how to speak English, and then I'm trying to learn. Thank you for giving the chance for me today to speaking and try to give some feedback to all of you in every nations. And thank you for sharing, because you all have doing very good in your own part, and together with everyone in your locations, your countries, and your because we need to do things to be a way, the right way, the best way to putting the for in Tzu Chi is lead to a lot of hard work, and then to be mindful in everything, as long as we do the right, like just now brother Sihao is giving the speech is very good in our Buddha Dharma Sutra, because I have no idea how to speak in English, and then I now have the chance to try, and then I just thanks a lot, really thanks a lot, because everyone really have the heart to following master teaching. And then I'm Malaysian. Don't know whether you all know that I'm from Malaysia. I'm born in Pahang, and then I know Tzu Chi is in Malacca. Used to be a Malacca Tongren, and then now I'm coming back already 8 years plus, and so far in here is very good. And then encourage everyone to come back to have the positive thinking, to have some like we need to charge battery if you feel now because of the COVID-19, and maybe the years end of year have the what they call yesterday I was talking with my sister. She also as a volunteer as well. She this year coming to be Sultan, and then I also feel that very grateful that she also trying to teach family members to taking the vegetarians, become vegetarian. And now Master always speaking that remind us to be vegan. You all have taken part very good 推广 vegetarian, because this only a month that we are 欲望啦哈 desire to having a meat is not the what they call 营养哈营养 nutrition yes the nutrition taking is all in the vegetarian as well. We no need to have the meat. So how can we encourage our family member? It's not easy, and then even those our family members or the other people's it's not easy. But if as long as we know the right way, and then we do the best, and then as because our 身价 and 言价 we can give a lot of effort to encourage them and then let them know that it's very good for us to having the vegetarian. And then to do a very good, I know that everyone have the knowledge to how to do it. The point is, as I know, the point is how we feel that our work, our hard work is valued or not. To make them, whenever our fasting, we need to encourage them as well. Sometimes we will be lost our way, how to continue this Tzu Chi work and Buddha path is not easy, but we can hand in hand and gather everybody as this Saturday sharing, and then gather call up everybody to join together and then share the thoughts. It's very good for us to increase our mind, even you are in not in same as our Buddha or maybe as other 宗教 信仰, or even they have no 宗教信仰 also no problems because we are doing the great work together. The point is, 共思共事共行 is very important for us to do so. We always lost ourselves sometimes. I feel that this is my like I don't know what to do sometimes. Maybe sometimes we want to do something but there is a lot of people to have giving us a lot of feedback, and then we maybe don't know how to do it. The best way is what? As long as we 共事 so we know how to do. Then just one way, and then otherwise this is the most important things that I need to share with all of you. Hopefully, brother and sister in the out nations, if you have the chance to come back, please. Or now we have the online sharing. Is please call up everybody to share to have the online sharing together. Then if we at home also can share our thought as well to encourage ourselves to be more motivated and in a positive way thinking, and we create the most positive environment. So 法亲同仁 or family members also can together make the great work and effort in this Tzu Chi and path. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sifu, and 感恩 Brother George, and 感恩 everybody. SisSuiSan, thanks. SisSuiSan, you're muted. You're mute. You have to turn it. Yeah, thanks.
感恩杰师傅 we know 杰师傅 and all the 师傅 they are very busy after it. Sorry for the delay. Very grateful for 师傅 for very all these kind of advice, and 师傅 and Sister Debbie at the side. 感恩 because we are receiving daily 寻法香 notes from Sister Debbie. 感恩你 okay. 感恩 there are so much words of gratitude. 感恩杰师傅 感恩Sister Debbie 感恩世豪师兄 感恩 Brother George very heartfelt sharing 感恩 for the sisters for the sign language 感恩 Thank you brothers and sisters for your presence. Hope that each of us could sustain the Dharma joy and take in a piece of the Master and Hualien love of our life. May we invite Fu to lead us in paying homage? Please make 3 bows to the Buddha and Dharma Master as we depart to apply these teachings in our daily life. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life universal truth. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And a bow to our beloved Fu for the great guidance. Okay, sorry, there's still another session, extended session for those who can stay behind. Over to our brother Robert to host.
Yeah, Kangen so much. Yes, a full day of Kangen, a whole morning of Kangen. To all our brothers and sisters who are able to join us. Yeah, let us continue with the extended sharing. Today we are very grateful to have with us our very committed, hardworking, noble and charitable SisSuiSan to share with us her insight. Please help me to welcome SisSuiSan. SisSuiSan, are you there?
Yes. Okay.
What do you, yeah.
Sorry that I didn't wear my uniform because I'm outstation today. Can earn for the opportunity to share today. Brother Robert gave me a big task. Sorry that I also didn't prepare PPT because on the move the whole day yesterday. How do I start on this? Brother Robert gave me a topic that on seeking donation for our latest project, which is the Tita Satu Keluarga. To date, I have already gotten 700,000 for the Tita Satu Keluarga program. So a lot of people ask me how I did it. Actually, for me, I have one thought always whenever there's a big program that is require soliciting funds, getting donors for a project. I always have a very pure heart. I only have a lot of targets because also all the targets, so-called targets, I sincerely want them to good. Anyway, this money does not come into my pocket. It goes into Tzu Chi to do good deeds. So I won't hesitate to go to my list of donors, past donors, to ask them for help. So I will always send them whenever they have those send to our mail that to get donation. So I just send it over to these friends or some of these are corporate captains that Tzu Chi is seeking help to get funds to fund this whatever program. So my very first one, which I have done it before, was at the time when I gotten about 3 million. Was for the school. So that one gave me a lot of inspiration that if I have the view, I have a strong vow, I will have a strong, and I can be successful. Because it's all come from your heart, I don't tell lies. 诚真心实, like just now Brother John saying, 诚真心实, you just tell them, this all for good deeds, and it's not even go to my pocket, and it's up to them whether they want to do or not. So when I target them, I don't ask for small amount. I normally go for the max. If 100,000 is a max, then I will straight away ask them for 100,000. So it's just that I have very good affinity. Whenever I ask whatever amount from them, they never said no. They will say yes to me, but of course not every donors can give me 100. So I always use my wisdom to judge who are the one that can give me the maximum. I know that some who can't give me a maximum, at least they give me half, or if not, then they will give me maybe 10,000, 20,000. I will also take it lah, because this is so 因缘lah. So so how, actually I also don't know how I do it lah. Just like I just have a pure heart to just voice out. That, but of course, along the way, like just now, Brother Joe Huang also mentioned that everything is, also Master mentioned this morning, everything is accumulate over time. Even affinity with people also takes a long time. So I will always go, whoever I see, I always treat everyone nicely lah. No matter how I hate the person, so I will still try to be nice. Although some corporate that I don't really like, but I still have to be nice because everyone knows me as Tzu Chi volunteer. It's very easy to know that I'm Tzu Chi volunteer. Whenever we come to a meal, why you don't take meat? When you can't, don't take meat, that's where it starts. Then my friends will say, or my colleagues say, she's a Tzu Chi volunteer, that's why she doesn't take meat. From there on, so you also bring out, even though I'm not in uniform, I still have I have to carry myself well, that I'm carrying Tzu Chi name. They don't look at me as I am from Kenanga, no. They look at me that I'm a Tzu Chi volunteer. So whatever action that I take is a reflection of Tzu Chi. Not so much because I am my organization. So I always have to make sure that I carry myself well. Also, like say how to, like say I face so much temptation in terms of monetary wealth. So saying no to a lot of things is, I think it takes a lot of resolution and determination that we are walking this path, and every small action is being watched by others. May not be this corporate, or maybe another corporate, or maybe my colleagues, or my or the fund managers. So you have to carry yourself, and every word that I say, it must be of the truth. And if things that I cannot do, I tell them that I can't do. But normally I give them a very frank opinion, and if possible, I will lead these corporates that do the right thing, just do the right thing. And if you do the right thing, everything will come smoothly for you. So because I give a lot of so-called free advice to a lot of corporates, and they can see the result. So this has already created a very good affinity with them. So whenever there is a chance that I want to raise funds, I will go to them and ask them nicely whether they want to support Tzu Chi. So like I said, most of them will not say no because it's for good deeds. And also, what else that is? This I have, actually initially I did not make any vows to raise how much funds for Kita Satu Keluarga. I was already very happy that initially I raised 300,000. I thought maybe that should be my goal. Then later on, as I move along, because past before 1 week before the closing of the application, myself and the community actually went all out because I realized that the form is so difficult to fill in. For people who are illiterate, actually, it's not easy. It's not easy form. So our intention is to want to help. So to help, we must facilitate them, accommodate. And so we went to all the flats. The flats, as you know, if for those the uninitiated, these are actually from they are from the B40 and they're poor. Their salary is around maybe 1,500 or 2,000 and below. Because I know that because the application form is in English, it's just impossible for them to fill in. So we organized for the past 1 whole week. We went to a group of volunteers. We went to all these, we call as Bangsa Puri, PPR, to at least 2 to 3 hours to sit down there to fill up the form for them. At least we do a short interview. So because of our action, our area is now in Klang. I think in Xuan Xuelong is the second highest application. So higher application means there are more help that we can extend up to the people who really need it. After the 1 whole week of filling up their form, helping them to fill in the form, submissions, I realized that there are a lot of people out there truly need this help, even though they may not be affected by COVID. But before COVID, they're already so tough. What about after COVID? Although they can't express it, the suffering, I really empathize with them. And this made me feel that I must go out there and maybe initially they say that it's 3,000 for 3,000 candidates. If I can get more funds, maybe go beyond 3,000. Task, I may go, let's say that I make a vow that I wanted to raise 1 million. Maybe I can even surpass 1 million because there's still time between now up to October. I will find every affinity to get as much fund as possible for this Kita Satu Keluarga. And I can't, because it's naturally because of my job that I have a lot of affinity with the rich one. And how to get this rich one to be to help the poor one. I will become Tzu Chi is the link. And also in my hand also I have also helped a lot of rich men to be even richer. So why should I ask them to distribute to contribute to help? These are Malaysians and they truly need our help. So far, like I say, I already achieved 700 million. Getting another 300 million, 700,000. Getting another 300,000, I don't think it's a difficult task. It's just that I have to find right time, right place to convey our Tzu Chi program to them. Like I said, doing anything, anything that's right, I'm not scared. I don't find, the only thing I always have to find the right time, right time, right place, right 心情. Also need mood. You know that the bosses also need mood to give me the money. So so I have to do a lot of planning, how to lead to the donation. So I 每次是要I lead 人家, I benefit other first. Then only I will ask for my price. Anyway, the price is only to donate to Tzu Chi. The money will never go to me anyway. Go to Tzu Chi. And why should I? And like I said, 一定要等好的姻缘啦，也是要 plant a lot of good seeds that when they see me, they want to give me money. So that is my sharing.
Yeah, Kanan so much to our truly wonderful and inspiring sharing from our diligent and fearless SisSuiSan. Yeah, most Kanan. Yeah, BroJoe, over to you, please. Your feedbacks.
Okay. Thanks, SisSuiSan. And I just gotta say, you know, yeah, look at you. I also want to give you money, I guess. You know, you're so persuasive. Okay, so you plan it out, right? You go through different stages. You make sure it's the right time, right setting, right people, and you tell them, you benefit them first, and all of that. I think it's wonderful. Just to show you that it's not just about the end product, which the end result matters. Okay, but what you did was what you showed us was the actual process, what you think and how you go about doing this, and the fearlessness. Because you know, a lot of times we are stopped and hindered by our own fear. And just so I wanted to echo to what Brother George spoke about. You know, at first he was also fearful that promoting vegetarian in part of the care package. And if it's the right thing, or he was also fearful, is there going to be a conflict of interest? And I think that, you know, when you look at this whole world as one big family, how could there be a conflict of interest? We're all helping each other and we're all part of the family. How could there be a conflict of interest? And once you get over that, you know, then you are fearless. And so including SisSuiSan, who also promoting vegetarian, also soliciting in donations. I think you need this fearlessness to be able to go up to people and say, let me tell you why you should do this. Obviously not in that tone, because you're much nicer than that. And I think that's what's necessary. So thank you so much. And I think to know that this is not easy, because not everybody can do this, but to be able to do what you did, as well as what Brother George did, to communicate to the entire group, within your group. SisSuiSan was talking about meeting other people, right? But within your own group or your own company, it might become harder. Okay, so that goes to show that I think there are many, many things that are difficult, but we could always overcome that if we give our effort to do so. So thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. I think this is a very inspirational day. Thank you, Brother Robert. Thank
you, everyone.
Everybody. I think it's a wonderful day. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, Kanan so much. Brother Joe, for your wonderful feedbacks and sharing. And so much to SisSuiSan for the wonderful job that you've done. Yes, I think we have to come to the end of our sharing today. So Kanan to all for joining us. Let us continue. Like what Brother Joe said, let us continue to create a positive environment together. So let us deepen, our vow and our faith, like what Master mentioned this morning, together. So let us walk the path together. So we'll see each other again tomorrow morning, 5:20, our appointment with Master Xin Fa Xiang. So in the meanwhile, everyone have a good day. Om Tofo, Kanan so much. Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And to volunteers who are starting their mobilization today for one keluarga, happy 祝福大家 stay safe, stay blessed.
Okay, bye-bye.
Many are going for this initial assessment today.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you, wonderful.